Hey, I'm glad you're with me here on this gorgeous day in mid-August. Isn't that neat? August already. Kids were out waiting for the school buses this morning, ready to go to school. Got pictures of my grandchildren as they were getting ready to go to school. It was an exciting morning. This week has been an exciting week. You know, mothers everywhere are celebrating. Anyway, glad you're here on uh, this gorgeous Thursday. I had to think what day of the week it is on this gorgeous Thursday, and I hope it's a great day for you. So just come on into my little world for a moment, and we'll think together, see if we can't come up with something good here to share in just a moment. You know, I was thinking about something that came out of the old movie, the Bing Crosby movie, White Christmas. White Christmas. There was a part of the movie where he was talking to the character played by Rosemary Clooney in the movie. And he's talking about her sister and how she had roped him into coming and watching their act perform and so forth and all of that. And he mentioned something, he said something about her angle. And people are always working their angle. And I thought, you know, it's probably pretty much right in that. I know it's just a silly old movie that's been repeated 467,000 times, and I've watched 466,000 of them. Seriously, it's just an old movie, but the line is there, and maybe there is a part of us that thinks that everyone is working an angle. They don't do things without expecting something in return. You know, at least we want to be recognized, we want a profit, or we want something to come our way. You know, we do it because we're trying to get something out of it along the way. And there's a whole lot. And there's nothing wrong with doing business. You do business in this direction so that somebody else can come back that way. You do something kind that way and people return in that regard. But you know, sometimes people do things expecting nothing in return. In fact, when you think about it, that's kind of a biblical teaching. Jesus said in Luke chapter 6, verse 35, "But love your enemies, do good, and lend, hoping for nothing in return." In other words, do good things, hoping for nothing in return. Just do them to be altruistic, to just be good. Kind of challenging to do that. Because after we do something good, if we don't get some strong sense of gratitude, we tend to come back and want to say, man, they didn't even really seem to care. Yeah, I think everybody ought to be responsive and gracious, thankful and gracious in their response as they receive something. But, you know, so what if they don't? You did your good. You did your good, and you offered your good. Let me give you an example. Jesus gave one, of course, in the story of the Good Samaritan, as it's recorded for us. Luke records that great story. We recognize this Samaritan man does that and really asks nothing in return as he cares for the man who's been injured along the way, and says, "I'll even pay more when I come back if it's more than needed." We'd all like to have that kind of attitude. We'd all like to feel like we could be that person, and that's the encouragement, I think, that we derive out of a story like that, of loving your neighbor and so forth. But you may remember, some of you who are baseball fans will remember, in 2011, I believe it was July the 9th of 2011, that Derek Jeter, if I've got the date wrong, forgive me, that Derek Jeter made several hits. The New York Yankee Derek Jeter made several hits, and if I'm not mistaken, it was his second time up. He hit a home run, which amounted to his 3,000th hit. 3,000th hit. And it was a home run out over left field. And in the stands was a young 26-year-old man by the name of Christian Lopez. And Christian caught that ball. He ended up with that ball. He caught that 3,000th hit. It's a hallmark. It was a special one. It was one that the New York Yankees recognized as being very, very special. But I got to tell you what happened. Here, this young man has caught that ball. Everybody knows about it. He could have gotten it signed and sold it for no telling how much money. But instead, he returned it to Derek Jeter. He didn't ask for any money. He didn't ask to sell it. He didn't ask for some sort of endorsement. He didn't ask for celebrityism. Yeah, there was some things that came his way. The newspaper noted it. Derek Jeter sent him some bats, signed baseballs, a couple of jerseys, things like that. He got some seats, some very special seats to a game, but it wasn't something he specifically asked for. He just returned the ball. He said, I wasn't about to take away something from him. And I know that was a biggie. That was a biggie. But when you think about how much he could have gotten for it, you begin to think the mind could have played well into that and said, well, after all. But instead, he asked for nothing in return. I've thought about that so many times. When I was growing up, the neighbor lady next door wanted her yard mowed, and my dad volunteered me to mow her yard. She paid me $5. $5 to mow her yard. I would go over and mow and clean up and trim her yard and get up all the grass and everything and all that. And then she would give me $5 and felt like she was being generous. The next year rolled around and she came over and asked my dad again, would I be willing to mow her yard? She didn't come and ask me if I would. And he came up and said, I told her you'd mow her. I said, I don't want to mow her yard. She only gives me $5 for mowing her yard. My dad said, she's our neighbor. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, what difference does it make? Just do it. That's what good neighbors do. And if she gives you $5, that's a bonus. It took me a while to learn what he was saying. But isn't that exactly what Jesus was trying to get across? Do good and lend, hoping for nothing in return. Christian Lopez gives us an example of something big, but it could be the little things every day. Just a kindness, just an opportunity. And the other person may not recognize what a blessing it is, but you do. And you know you've done good. Do good, hoping nothing in return. Teaches us some of the greater lessons of life. Thank you, Christian Lopez, for being willing to do that. I know the years have passed and it was celebrated for quite a while. I remember when it happened. It's notable. Maybe you did too. But let's don't forget it. And let's remember when something good is done. And when we do something good, and the opportunity is there, to ask nothing in return. Yes, do your business, take care of business, but when you have the opportunity to just do something good, isn't that a great thing to do? I like that one. I hope I can put it into practice even better than I've ever thought in the past. And I hope you will too. Well, there we go. Thanks for being with me today. It is a gorgeous summer day. I hope it's one that blesses your life. Get out there and enjoy the heat. Turn on the heat, enjoy it. It's a great day. So thank you for being with me today, and we'll look for more things that we can share a little further down the road.